series of the famous rabbis of yesteryear. Now today, Bet Elul, the second of Elul, marks the Hilul reported of Rabbi Shimon Dweck HaKohen, very famous rabbi of his time, and taking notes actually from the famous Haimi website over here within regards to it. They are commemorating his Hilula on the 2nd of Elul. They're not too sure exactly the date he specifically passed away, but I think that was the date, 2nd of Elul, was when there was a Khatimah, the signature of the Haskamot, the approval for his books from the great rabbis of Turkey, called the Reich Sadeh, the great famous book of his, which Torah colossal work that he wrote in his time. So let's explore a few of the highlights of great rabbi's life. Now, we're not too sure exactly the date I believe he was born on, but I believe he came from great auspices. His father's name was Rabbi Shimon Dweck HaKohen. He was born in Aram Tzova in Syria. Remember, Syria at that point in time, especially 1800s, was a great Jewish community. Now, he would learn Torah under auspices of his father, Rabbi Shimon Dweck HaKohen. So the Dweck HaKohen family, we're going to see, I'm not too sure if they were all connected or how specifically they were connected, but many of the rabbis with that name, that title, became great rabbis, respectively. I think Rabbi Shimon Dweck HaKohen was one of the great rabbis of Aram Tzova, and I think his grandfather happened to be, there was Rabbi Moshe Dweck HaKohen, another great rabbi. I believe we mentioned about on various occasions before. He was grandfather. I think Rabbi Moshe Dweck HaKohen, there was definitely one that only passed away quite recently in the year 2016. I was born in the year 1930, so I'm not too sure if that was a direct line or not, or maybe there was a Rabbi Moshe Dweck HaKohen a few lines before that. Okay, it was Bet Din, it was a head of Jewish court in Aram Tzova, respectively, and I think through his uncle from his mother's side, there was other great rabbis also. I think there was a connection, I think, to the famous Rabbi Raphael Shlomo Laniado, who was also the rabbi of Aram Tzova. Now, Rabbi Laniado is another great rabbi we mentioned about on various occasions before here in this series. I believe there was two Rabbi Raphael Laniados. There was one, I think, that was the one we're speaking about, was born in the year 1710 and passed away in the year 1793. He was a Dayan. He was a rabbi of Aram Tzova, one of the great rabbis, great judges of his time, and he was, I think, very close to, would learn next to Rabbi Yehuda Katzin, for example, and various other great rabbis. He passed away himself in the year 1793. I believe we're talking about nearly 230 years ago, or just slightly over. I think these rabbis were also close with the famous Rabbi Tzadka Chotzin HaRishon, which we're going to talk about inside a minute. Okay, so Rabbi Shimon Dweck HaKohen would get married to the daughter of Rabbi Yosef Navi, I believe his name was, and they would have great rabbis, including Rabbi Yosef Dweck HaKohen would be born to them. And I think we mentioned him before inside the series, Rabbi Yosef Dweck HaKohen. Also, he... if I'm not mistaken, there were various different rabbis with that specific name itself. There was actually one that was born in the year 1870 and passed away in 1961, but I think that was maybe another one inside the line, respectively. So many of the rabbis, they kept that, obviously, they had their family name, and the greatness would perpetuate, and I think they would name their descendants also with the same name. Okay, so that is interesting also. So let's progress. Okay, so I think this Rabbi Yosef Dweck HaKohen, who was his son, would go on to become a famous gvir, very, very great person that would, donate, huge philanthropist also, and was a rich people of Aram Tzova. Now, one of his descendants was another great rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Dweck HaKohen. Okay, let's speak about him for a minute. I think it's very, very important, especially here on this specific series, because it happens to be remarked over the Hilula of the great rabbi, respectively. So Rabbi Moshe Dweck HaKohen, I think he was a grandson. So there was various rabbis once again with that specific title, respectively. I think he was born, if I'm not mistaken, just to double check it. It could be that he passed away actually in the year 1946. I think his grandson did, and I'm not too sure when he was actually born, but he was also a great rabbi of Aram Tzova, and would learn Torah under Rabbi Mordechai Abadi, and actually I think also Rabbi Yaakov Shaul Dweck was also someone that he would learn under, and he would also go on to become a great rabbi, respectively. Okay, so I think it was the year 1738 I think in Bukuşta itself in Turkey, respectively, his book, the Reach Sadeh, actually come out, various different sections. Chelek Rishon, the first part of the book, was called the Zman Haget. This was an authorship work that was done together, I think, with his brother, Rabbi Shimon Dweck HaKohen. I think this come out in two cycles, if I'm not mistaken. There was 24 different teshuvot, 24 different answers. I think based on the 4 halakim, 4 sections of Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law, and there were subjects from the great rabbis of his generation, which would add onto it. As I said before, Rabbi Tzadka Chotzin Harishon would very much be part of it. And I think at that point in time, Rabbi Tzadka Chotzin, the first one, was actually the head rabbi of Baghdad. It was Rabbi Baghdad. There was also Rabbi Abraham HaKohen. I think the third part of the book was various Chidushim, which was speaking about Masechet Avodah Zarah, respectively. The 4th section was also Drushim, various different Chidushim. And on Agada, it was through the order of the Parshiot of Sefer Bereshit, of the Book of Creation. And I think the 5th part, if I'm not mistaken, was Chidushim on the Torah, respectively. And I think there was various difficulties, questions with regards to the Shas, the Talmud Bavli, and various different answers there was on within regards to various other important Torah subjects. And I think come with the year 1743, he would actually move to Eretz Yisrael. He would actually make Aliyah along with Rabbi Shlomo Abadi. He was a very, very great rabbi of his time. I think we actually mentioned Rabbi Shlomo Abadi on various occasions before here on this series. So I would recommend everyone to look back at that specific video we recorded about him. He was a very great rabbi of his time also from Syria. So I think they would actually make Aliyah together. Remember, at that point in time, in the early 1700s, especially in the mid 1700s, there was a wave of people coming to Eretz Yisrael. They would, I think they would live, I think in the Galil, if I'm not mistaken, and I think in a village quite near Tzfat. Remember, Tzfat is one of the 4 holy cities of Israel. Now, as we stated on onset, we're not sure the date of his Hilula, but they would mention at the Hayami website that it's on the 2nd of Elul, because that was the date of the Haskamot for that the great rabbis of Bukuşta, I think Istanbul, those different places, will give for his book called the Reach Sadeh. So that is also interesting enough. But let's explore a few of the highlights of the great book of his. Just quoting once again the excellent notes here on the Haimi website to do with the great Chacham. Now the first thing, מלמד שאין לדיינו יותר מאשר הקצבה שיש להם מהקהל. This I think comes from page number 65, and I think it was actually printed through Rabbi Yonah ben Yaakov Ashkenazi, if I'm not mistaken, and this was printed in 1738 respectively from the Reach Sadeh book, very, very famous book, which I recommend everyone to look into. I think you can actually see the book, if I'm not mistaken, on the Hebrew Books.org website, possibly also the Israel National Library, but I'll have to double check on that. Okay, another teaching inside the book is Melamed she'al yedei kavanat b'pasuk Shema Yisrael yachol lavi et hagula. That's how powerful intention is when you're saying the prayer of Shema Yisrael. And this once again comes from the Reach Sadeh book, from page number 16. Also, so we have to point that out. So I recommend everyone to look into that, because that's very important. Let's explore a few more of the teachings from this Torah Colossal, this Torah Colossal book, respectively. Another one is Melamed she'ali. Okay, we already touched on that. Melamed tikanato shelo yav'u lidei lashon hara shim talmid chacham yasuk ba. This comes from, I think, page number 18. This was once again from the Reach Sadeh book, and very, very great, awesome Torah work itself. Melamed להיזהר שלא ישתרר להנהיג עצמו ברבנות, שלא לשם שמיים. How important is to be לשם שמיים if one is trying to go inside the rabbinic field? This is once again spoken and expounded on in the Reach Sadeh book, in page number 53, respectively. And once again, this was printed in year 1738. The great book was. So I would recommend everyone to look into it and learn more about his teachings. We're not too sure the exact date that he passed away, but if anyone has more clarity, please let me know. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about famous rabbis of yesteryear. Now, if you descend from any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now. We are reaching close to a staggering 7,500 subscribers. That's AIM. Hopefully, by the time period of Rosh Hashanah, but before Rosh Hashanah, to actually reach that specific milestone in of itself, respectively. So that'll be a famous, it'll be a phenomenal achievement if we can do it. And I think on that note, I'm going to wish you all a fantastic night. Please watch over the previous videos. We have now recorded over 1,250 biographies, approximately, of great Chachamim from the North African countries, from the Ottoman countries, and from various other places also. So I recommend everyone to look into it, and take care and be well. And thanks for watching, spending time to watch. Thank you.